But I want to ask a different kind of question now, because as a reviewer, not an actor, I'm always fascinated by how directors make casting decisions. So I want to know, if you were cast in that scene as Poins, as obviously you were, how did that decision affect the director's decision to cast other actors, or was it the other way around?
I'm not privy to that inside information. You would have to ask the director or Bill, but I'm sure that Bill had a lot to do with it. He's the one that knows how to use me in roles, and so he made suggestions. And then the director takes the ball and runs with it. Penny was thrilled about the idea of using me in that character. She saw the fit. You know, I was the loyal sidekick to Hal. So of course we have a special relationship. And he saw something in me that made him want to become my friend, to learn sign, to be able to communicate with me. You know, we clicked. So it added a really nice, a deeper relationship. Yep, it made it a deeper relationship.
So
I'm not really involved with casting, but I like to tell a funny story about next year's play, To Kill a Mockingbird. This might be off the point, but I had assumed that I'd be offered the role of Boo Radley because, you know, he has very few lines. You know, I could speak those lines, or they could be signed, and Scout is fascinated with this deaf mute. So I thought, oh, yeah, it'd be a different character for me to play. And my wife said, no, that role is too easy for you. Why don't you play Bob Ewell, the bad father? And Mayella is your daughter. She can interpret for you. And I thought, oh, of course. So I told Belle, and Bill was just thrilled. And he told Marion, and Marion said, of course. So, you know, it's really going to add another dimension to the play To Kill a Mockingbird. Me being deaf, you know, my abusive relationship with my daughter, I forced her to interpret. You know, I think the point that I'm trying to make is that really there's no limit to what role I can do. You know, I'd like to do an opera. Like I said in my answers, I would like to do an opera. There's no limit. You know, the blessing is that OSF, Bill, the other directors have been so open-minded about how can we make this work. You know, maybe we have to add another character, you know, to talk for me, or maybe, you know, how do we divide the lines among the cast? Like in Don Quixote last year, I was one of the convicts, and they had another convict speak for me.
Why not?
We're bound.
Yeah, we're bound. We're together in jail, so you learn some signs. We're stuck with me. I'm stuck with him. So, you know, there's been a lot of creativity about how to voice for me. Another example in Don Quixote, and I played barber number 2, and the main barber number 1, he brought me to the priest to tell what had happened with Don Quixote, and he became my voice. You know, he interpreted for me, but we had a very funny finale where I had explained in sign mime, which is visual vernacular, of what had happened, you know, and I'm explaining, you know, Sancho on the donkey, you know, using gestures like this, and I'm gesturing and telling this wonderful visual story. And then Mark Murphy, who plays the character, the barber, he's just fascinated watching this story, and he stopped talking, he stopped interpreting, and the whole audience is fascinated because I'm so clear with miming the story, and, and gets hit on the head, and then they went off, and then Mark finishes a whole thing with one line, and they fled. And the audience is just cracking up because I said about 20 lines and he only interpreted one sentence for me. So it's funny. So, there's creative solutions to the challenges of how it'll work. Some of it is planned ahead of it. Some of it comes up during rehearsal. As some situation comes up in rehearsal, we have to discuss how we're going to have to do it. So I've had a lot of different roles in my career, so it's second nature. I could figure out a way to make each role work. I've never had any audience member criticize me or say, oh no, that did not work. I've never experienced that. And they've never criticized the casting choice of me. I remember that I did a play, Skin of Our Teeth, at the Intiman. Okay, Intiman Theater in Seattle. And one man approached me after our question and answer meeting, and he came up and he said, did Thornton, was it Thornton who wrote the play? Anyways, he said,
It's Wilde. Yeah.
oh, yep. He said, did the playwright write that role for a deaf person? Yeah. It worked. Yay. He believed it 100%. Anyway, Bart directed that play, Bart Scher. And he had the brilliant idea of, at the end, when there's all these different philosophy statements by the different speakers throughout the year. There's Aristotle and I can't remember. Anyways, but some other different philosophers. And normally in the script, the different actors in the play speak each chunk themselves. Also, so the ensemble, they say their part, each person says their different parts. Bart had me, but instead Bart had me sign all of it, sign all of the philosophical statements, but the actors voiced for me. So it was like the voice of mankind through one person. But you hear the voices of a young boy, a young black boy, a young woman, an older woman, an older man. So you hear all these different voices speaking through me. Every man doing this, so it was really brilliant. I still get chills just thinking about how, I was able to sign it, and the audience was really impacted with the beauty and the power of ASL, combined with the eloquence of the spoken words, spoken by these wonderful trained voices of different ages, different timbres, the different voices going up and down, and they said it was really just mind-blowing. They felt like they were traveling the universe with me, and I felt like I was traveling the universe, signing these different philosophical statements, imagining Aristotle, and they're with me. I'm talking to them. So the audience was just really blown away.
Yeah.
So really, there's no limit what a deaf actor can do on stage if you have the open-mindedness and the heart to work with us, to collaborate with us.